Hello, everyone,
Ooh.
and welcome to this week's edition of Nerd Shit Live. I am your lovely chunk of a human, Pat Naparano. With me, as always, is my co-host.
Gercondez, what's up, everybody?
Woo.
And on these remote shows, we have with us our crew. I keep wanting to call them the staff, but they're not really staff.
No. we run this submarine.
Yeah, I know. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like the inmates are running the asylum.
It's like I'm a
pretty much.
janitor of a submarine or something.
Yeah, like a janitor of a submarine.
Those guys are always underutilized. You never know. You never
Definitely
you don't have the
overpaid, too.
idea.
Did you guys know that I actually forgot about that and Joe brought that up? Now I'm angry about it all over again.
Fine.
Good thing it was just all behind us now, right?
It was. It once was. But yeah. So anyway, Nick Haberstroh at Nick McFly and Joe Enright at I'm Joe Enright with 3 E's because he's got to make it complicated. That's his
Bruh.
style. So how's everybody's week?
Good.
Doing okay.
Relaxing.
Doing all right? You guys watch any TV? Heard y'all was watching movies.
Maybe. Can
Um,
neither confirm
most of
nor
my free
deny.
time's just been warming up to Doom still. So that's
Oh,
about
nice.
it.
That's right. Joe's playing through
That
Doom
is
right now.
about
But
it.
hold on. So nobody watched TV this week, right? So we have nothing we have to talk about this week
Nope.
at all.
Not
Well,
at
see,
all.
here's the thing. What defines television now, right?
True.
True,
Right?
true.
That is
Well,
the
we're gonna
bigger
get
question.
into that later on because we are talking about the Mandalorian, and we're gonna do non-spoilers and then spoilers. But it's okay. We'll let you know. All right. We have a sick toilet paper graphic, and it was a good aesthetic choice to go with. I'm glad we decided to go
That
with
worked out.
toilet paper.
End up being very topical of 2020.
Is anybody
Right.
else nervous to tell their coworkers what they do on their podcast and what the name is?
I think it's just more. I think around this time, right? If you like our name of our podcast, I think it's more acceptable now as it was probably, let's say, 5 years ago. You know, I don't know. I think people
Maybe.
have opened up.
I mean, it's not that progressive of a concept or title.
Just watch out for the reboot, right?
It's actually pretty funny. I had a guy who I used to do theater with message me. Shout out to Greg. He said,
Greg.
he goes, thoughts on thoughts on game of the year, and my response was, it's crazy. It's as if like I have a platform where I like recorded that and put that you could just listen to that. And his response was like, geez, it's like the author that wants you to read the book. So I'd say it's been pretty warm. It's been pretty positive reception all around. Either way though, boys, we got news tonight. We got some big news. We got some breaking news. No. So the first thing is that we want to talk about, I think everybody has talked about this week. Tom Cruise, he lost his mind over crew not following COVID restrictions. So the story goes that Mr. Cruise, if that is his real name, he caught 2 of them being too close together, like looking at a monitor when they were watching playback on something. And he just freaked out. Now, I'm sure it wasn't like an egregious offense, but like I'm sure this is the straw that broke the camel's back. And like we all heard the video, so we know why it was the straw that broke the camel's back. It's because like he's personally invested hundreds of millions of dollars into this. The movie's so far behind schedule. It's been shut down. It's been shut down a number of times. And Tom Cruise is like an absolute like workhorse, like he's a juggernaut of Hollywood is the best way to describe it. You know what I mean? So like he just does not take this bullshit from these guys about not following COVID protocol.
Yeah, I mean, like here's the thing. On top of him being a producer and then putting a lot of money into it, he even paid almost like $700,000 for a ship just for the crew to like isolate in. So like he's taking this as a pretty serious thing, he means business.
Yeah, for the cast and crew. That's
Mhm.
right.
It's like
Yeah,
the mission is impossible.
It is an impossible mission, and he is doing it. Well, okay. Here's the thing. I think the whole situation, obviously people are making a big deal out of it. But like basically that union that Tom Cruise was using, like whatever union they were a part of, that like crew, 120,000 out of the 150,000 people that are in that union are apparently unemployed, and the rest are employed by him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, or I don't know about that last part, but either way, the reason they have jobs is because Tom Cruise is showing that you can make movies like this in a time like this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I don't understand what would be so hard to wear a mask or just, social distance on set. You're like spitting in the face of all the people who are out of work in your industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then I've also heard,
like, you could speak from experience, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, the thing is, it's very hard right now, right? So what they're doing at the moment is people who pretty much have a lot of experience under their belt, they're the ones who are going to be, getting those jobs in the first place right now, right? Before, there was a whole lot more money to go around. They don't have to be as choosy or picky of, the crew members that they have. So pretty much I haven't worked on set in a while. It's not because I don't have a lot of episodes or, movies or TV shows under my belt. So, I was hoping for a wonderful 2020, in terms of working on set, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I don't know. I feel like I'm totally on board with Tom Cruise on this one. Just like the people who are working right now don't know how good they have it. So.
And they should realize it, and Tommy C is going to put him in their place. But whatever. I agree with Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even though Scientology might have something to do with this. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So moving on, HBO Max comes to Roku after burying the hatchet with Warner Media. Now, this headline is on Chicago Tribune. I don't know how reputable they are. However, I couldn't find what they buried the hatchet over. But overall, I'm just happy that HBO Max is now on Roku, because now I get HBO Max in my bedrooms.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who have Roku devices. It's insane because, like, I think a lot of them, they give it as presents. They give it to, pretty much everyone uses Roku at the moment. Like, it's a tie, right? I think. I don't know. I don't have, like, the numbers on it. But in my personal experience of people, like, asking people, like, whether if they have a Fire Stick or Roku, I think it's pretty much even. So for them to have HBO Max now, it's kind of cool. I
don't know. I just find it kind of absurd that like they were like they're burying the hatchet, but I couldn't find what. And then it said something like they're burying the hatchet now that Warner Media has decided that they will give Roku an app like after 7 months after launching. I was like, what are you talking about? Like they just didn't do it right.
It's got to be something with money that always used. That's the common denominator for the most part.
Yeah, normally with corporations, I guess you're right.
Yeah, one business shorted maybe like $5 million of someone. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but either way, they're agreeing on the last $2 million. So my next question would be, besides for me, do any of you guys now have HBO Max because of this Roku deal?
I mean, it's always been on the Fire Stick for me, so. Has been an issue.
Oh, I see.
Been a non-issue.
All right. Well, I guess it's just me then.
I got a quote from Variety saying the standoff, of course, revolves around money. More than that, the distribution disputes are about long-term strategic access to rapidly growing streaming. One media company exec says Roku and Amazon are asking for egregious terms, and the other side says that one of the over-the-top platform providers says that they're simply looking for a reasonable share. So it's like Joe said, just money.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Because, again, you think definitely like those hosting the streaming service have the upper hand, but I guess the people that actually have the hardware that you can use it on still have a say in the matter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just love how it's like, hey, I have the content. It's the same thing with like the music industry, right? Yeah. Is it not? I have the content, but I have the platform. You know what I mean? So like, let me try to rip you off as much as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Music's still a little bit more clear cut though.
Well,
it's just like
unlike music though, it's
restreaming.
like giant corporation versus like small individual or group of individuals, where in this situation it's giant corporation versus giant corporation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, look, we can either still make billions or we can make more billions. So what do you want to do?
More billions.
More billions.
Billions.
Sean Parker, billions.
So when do you think we'll get to the point where we're going to just have bundles of subscription, where it's just like cable, but for like Disney, Hulu, it just turns into cable streaming
Stop
again.
talking about it. You're manifesting it by talking about it. Okay, first they put
I'm just a realist.
It exists already.
They're putting the data caps in January in this area. I'm going to have a 1.2 terabyte data cap from Comcast unless I pay an extra $30 a month.
What?
Yep, in New Jersey. You should get it too, actually, if you have Comcast.
Only $30, man.
That's why Ken
I was
switched
gonna
to
bleed a
Verizon.
little bit more.
All right, next up, hold on, boys. Facebook accused of breaking antitrust laws. Now, I got to be honest. I can't pick out one law or like one particular instance of them breaking antitrust laws that isn't absolutely egregious and in the multitudes. So, like, they have pretty much lawsuits in like 48 states now, right? Is that what the last number I read?
Yeah, like back-to-back lawsuits too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what are they going to... So now they want to break off WhatsApp and Instagram, right? They want to break those up and they want to break up Facebook. And because it's gotten way too big. So if they make those separate entities, right? And they break that up. It doesn't end the scrutiny though, right? Now we can look in closer and we can say like, hey, what data are you collecting on people? You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, how much data is it? And like, how much is it worth? And like, is this ethical? You know what I mean? So we are finally starting to see the, I guess you could say the cracks in the surface on big tech.
Well, they're not going out without a fight. Like Facebook said, they're going all in on like, we're going to fight this. So it should be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, and they also sued Google too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing too, even with like, if you guys remember earlier this year, they released, Facebook released their new Oculus headset, VR headset.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, in order to even use it, you have to log in with only your Facebook account, which has to be accurate, right? Has to be accurate to your actual real information. So a lot of people were really mad because, there was this transition where when Facebook bought Oculus a few years back, you could still have like an Oculus account and you never had to link up your Facebook at all. But now, in order to have this VR headset in your possession and to use it, you got to have a Facebook account linked to it.
Okay.
So it's just, I don't know what kind of information that they're going to be using from that, but, Facebook has got the pull, man. I don't know. They're going to fight whatever.
It's just interesting because all this is still young too, and I feel like the lines are super blurred. Like I know the most recent case against Google, I think the argument is that they're basically starting monopoly, and they could cite instances like that, but then Google's defense is we're just making the best product to help out our clients or end users or something like that. And there's nothing wrong against that, like that's just what a business should do. So it's very interesting to see like how they're going to actually push this forward.
You could always use Bing. You could use DuckDuckGo.
I'm still an Ask Jeeves guy myself, I got this spyware on my browser.
Back in the day, I legit thought Ask Jeeves was something I could like type a question into and then get a response back. So I never used it because I never thought it worked. And honestly, it sounds like when I say that out loud, if there's enough idiots like me, that might have been their downfall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You thought it was a real butler.
So, this next segment is actually a continuation of last week's episode. It's the Cyberpunk update, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, we should totally get into music like that. And then it comes back. Ding, 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 ding. Like News 12 New Jersey or whatever. No, weather alert. Well, either way, my point is that we continue to play Cyberpunk, and we wanted to talk about it again this week, just shortly, because we weren't far enough in yet to really make a call on it and to really say like what our experience has been. And on top of that, I kind of feel like I don't know, I kind of feel like this isn't a game we could quantify with a number. You know what I mean? And so at that, I'm going to hand it off to Ger. So Ger, why don't you give everyone your perspective, because you have the best rig out of all of us right now. You have the best GPU for sure. He has a 3090. So
well, here's the thing, right? So yeah, I'm getting pretty good performance out of it. Oh, well, first of all, to start things off, I love the game. So that's, I've been having a blast with it. And, maybe it has something to do with the hardware, but, there. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Yeah, it might have to do something with the hardware, but at the same time, not really, right? So I have encountered some bugs, but nothing like the bugs that you see like on YouTube and what streamers are showing. So I think I've been very lucky, even with Assassin's Creed. Pat, you've had like a lot of problems with your game. I did not really have any.
Play the same game.
Well, that's the thing. I think there has to be a difference, right? Where, maybe it's a hardware thing, but I'm still not sure, because a lot of people who have the same rig that I do also encounter different problems, similar problems to what you were having. So I don't know. I love the game so far. Great story writing. The game mechanics in there is just phenomenal, and there's so much to like really, find like the small details in like the world that they made. So I'm kind of happy with it, but Pat, I don't know about you.
We don't know about Pat. Come on.
I guess out of this list that we're running, I have, out of the three people who are going to talk about this tonight, I have the mid-tier GPU. I have a 1080 Ti, and it's just okay. Like,
it's still a great GPU though,
It is, but I just want to okay, so I'm running at 2K, and I'm like dropping down to like 40 frames in some places. Even when I go to 1080, I'm still getting like as low as like 50. And this is like including in the Badlands too. Mm-hmm. There's multiple glitches, multiple dialogue glitches, and I used to not say that immersion was that serious because I always knew I was playing a video game, but no. When glitches break your immersion, it kind of ruins the whole experience for me, because I just don't feel like, because of the game's performance on my end, it just hasn't sunk its hooks into me. Like I've put 24 hours into it right now, at this point, and I'm just still just like, okay, what's next? Like, the 3 missions at the top, the Takamura, the pull the chip out of my head that hurts, and I'm Keanu Reeves, those 3.
Oh, when you open up your character menu,
right,
or whatever?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
90% on the Takamura one. So I'm pretty much done with that one.
Oh, that's
and then
cool.
The other 2 I'm like 25 and like 40% on. So it's not like I haven't done anything, and I've done a shit ton of side missions and stuff, but and it's not like I haven't tried. I'm just like, I don't know. It's just, it's weird. It's just, I would rather play it when I get an RTX card at this point.
Well, I think that's what I've been seeing everywhere now, where a lot of people are just, the people who chose to keep the game and not get refunds, they're like, you know what? I'm going to try and see with every hot fix that comes out from CD Projekt Red. I'll give it a try. If it's still not to my liking, I'm just going to keep on waiting to really do a full dive into the game until I get like the next RTX card that, hopefully that they'll get, or something like that. So I totally understand. You don't want to really ruin it, ruin the experience for yourself. So why just wait, just wait.
Yeah, no. Now I believe we have a caller coming in on the line for this segment. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, to grace our show, to grace our stage, Casual Dan, the most casual gamer ever. We're giving him a call right now.
Hello.
Hey, Casual Dan.
Oh,
what's going on, man?
Nerd shit. How are you? Well, how's it going? how's the shit?
Oh, so nerdy.
It's
oh my
good.
Gosh.
Did you guys? I found out that if your poop is black, it means there's blood in your stool. Anyway, so Danny,
That's something.
Casual Dan, we wanted to get your perspective on a little known game called Cyberpunk on consoles on PS4. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I've heard of it.
Huh?
Hello? Did I lose you guys?
No, we can hear you.
Ask him again.
Can you give us your perspective on Cyberpunk on a PS4? Oh my God, you're sprint right now.
You got it. Wait, say it again. You're breaking up there.
Am I having a stroke?
Can you give us your perspective on your gameplay so far?
Oh, okay. Oh, so Cyberpunk is. I mean, so far, like it's fine. It's fine. It's buggy. It's a fun game. My biggest thing is I realized that I have not stepped up my game enough in the past couple of years, where there's so many different styles of pubes now, apparently, that I got to start trimming appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
I also,
are you kidding?
I mean, it's like like in terms of like the bugs, my game has crashed probably like 3 times now. And typically every time it's crashed, I've not once been like, okay, let me just reboot it back up. Typically when it crashes, I'm like 3 hours into playing and I just kind of have no desire to reboot it and play again.
Yeah. It's a sign.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's fun. It's a fun first-person shooter. It's fun to like hack into people. Like that's a really cool mechanic in the game. Most of my gameplay has been hacking into people when I'm attacking people. But like other than that, like I've been hit by cars that aren't there, like cars that just haven't texturized. I look both ways crossing the street and I get hit by a phantom car. Like it just kind of ruins the gameplay a little bit when stuff like that happens. I've had full conversations and cutscenes with people whose faces look like they've been dipped in Vaseline. Like it's just not pretty, and it just takes you out.
Man. Oh gosh.
Yeah, so I think we could say that glitches they break the immersion, and if it breaks your immersion, it ruins your fun too, huh?
I heard like every other word you said, but when it takes you out of the immersion, it's not fun. I think that's what you were trying to say.
Good. That's what I said. Perfect.
Okay. So we got immersion problems and pubes, and that seems to be
well, immersion problems and my pube game in general has not been up to par. That's what I've learned.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So pros and cons, you know?
Yeah, it's,
exactly.
It's a give and take situation.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's a give and take. I take pubes, and it takes away my immersion into the game.
Mm-hmm.
But like the gunplay is fun. It's a fun game. It's totally fine, except I haven't played since like Wednesday, and while I wasn't playing it, I had no desire to jump into the game. Like I didn't miss it at all. And then I came home today. I was playing for like 3 hours, and then I stopped. Haven't thought about playing it at all since. It's just kind of, it's a game that like I'll pick it up when I feel like jumping back into it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Casual Dan. Okay, the most casual gamer we know. He comes on this show. He puts his hours in. He asks me lots of questions, but it's all worth it.
and don't worry,
exactly.
Dan. Once
I put
we get
approximately
that sponsorship from Manscaped, we're gonna help you out on that.
Yeah.
There we
Don't
go.
worry.
Check under your seat.
That's really what I'm. No way! Oh my god! Wow!
That's right.
We
got him.
Oh gosh.
All right, guys.
All right,
well,
cool.
always
Hang up the
a
phone.
pleasure being on the show.
All right,
Have
thanks
a good
for
one.
Yay.
calling. Later.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Speaking
Woo.
of Ger, what kind of genitals did you choose for your character?
Oh, you mean the lack thereof?
Yeah.
Yes.
I chose this.
Oh, that's what I did. Yeah, except tiny. So it looks like a smashed up Vienna sausage. So I was like, oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
it's that RTX baby. You could see all the details. Man.
All right. Well, I mean, listen. Tonight after we're done, or maybe tomorrow after work, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna play a launch title for Xbox One for the first time ever. I'm gonna be playing Rise, Son of Rome, because
Oh wow,
I'm gonna
that's
try
a
and
long time
get
ago.
the taste of Cyberpunk out of my mouth for a bit.
Oh,
But moving
Interesting.
on into our main topic of this evening, gentlemen,
Oof.
I believe 3 out of 4 of us here are pretty hyped on a little property known as Star Wars. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's
Yeah.
on God, baby girl.
Yeah. Nick hasn't said one word this whole show. I bring up Star Wars, and he's like, "I'm here."
I read a quote from Variety.com.
Oh,
Do you
that's
not remember that? The
Wait, I'm
highlight of
sorry.
the show?
He's fact checking.
Sorry, God.
Yeah, I'll talk Star Wars as long as you want me to.
You got me on Star Wars, bro. And then Joe, I think Joe's familiar with the show, but he doesn't really watch it. But
I've seen Star Trek, yeah.
So, yeah, but we're gonna ruin some shit for you today.
Joe's a big fan of Bill Burr.
Yeah,
Talk
exactly.
about that.
I just realized he said he's seen Star Trek.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Star Trek.
Cool.
So, this is our non-spoiler section of this, and we're just gonna give our general feelings on The Mandalorian season 2, and overall how we kind of felt about it. So, I'm just gonna start. I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought, the last season, as far as like character arcs were concerned, they left Mando on kind of like a cliffhanger with his character, and now I feel like this season was the actual close of that arc, and it was incredibly satisfying, and it was incredibly emotional, and I got very, very upset. But no, yeah, it was good. And the action was great. It was like a greatest hits of Star Wars characters.
Darth
I mean,
Maul.
how did you guys feel?
Jer.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, this is something where, you know, I actually appreciate all the work that they've done. I mean, all of us have, you know, in terms of, you know, I think this is like uncharted territory for them, right? Even with the season 1 of like, all right, we're going to do like a completely different story, but instead of a movie, like we've always been doing, we're just going to do like strictly streaming and then, you know, episodic. And I feel like they really, you know, did a home run on this one. And in terms of the writing, all the cast, the special effects that was in both seasons, I feel like, you know, they didn't leave anything out. And, you know, that's very hard to say for other things that I've seen this year. So, I mean, I just gotta for Mandalorian, it was great. It was great. What a ride! Thank you, Joe.
I think I'll have to like echo what you're saying, like just about like they really put in the work to make it like what they didn't do for the sequel trilogy. They were just like, let's just make movies, pump them out. They really put in the time. They got the people who care, like Dave Filoni. The atmosphere is perfect. I always feel like I'm in a Star Wars, you know, universe. Not like, you know, when they went to Canto Bight in the sequel trilogy, it was like, this is not Star Wars. This doesn't feel Star. Everything feels authentic, and I really loved this season. Every single episode, really perfect. I have no complaints.
It's actually funny that you said that, Nick, because I saw on Reddit that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are actually kind of planning this out the way that like Kevin Feige planned out the MCU. Yep. And the first comment I saw was like, kind of like what they didn't do with the sequel trilogy.
I read that thread too. Yeah.
Okay.
Spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, that is an amazing take.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it was so fucking good.
You know what?
Joe,
you know what I think
what
is
did you think of what you've seen of season 2?
I mean, the only thing I can contribute to this conversation was what I said to you earlier today, which is I just saw like a few minutes of one of the most recent episodes, and I just like the fact that they're still using like Power Rangers kind of like practical effects with like puppets and like sparks and stuff like that.
When the Mandalorians all show up, I was like, oh, this is like adult Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fun.
Actually, I think that was my take when I first saw the trailer too for like season 1. I was like, this looks like Power Rangers, but now like I actually see it played out. It's like, that's kind of cool, you know.
Power
this
Rangers
show
is cool. Yes.
this show actually has incredible visual effects, and it has great like on-set special effects. You know what I mean? Like really good practical puppeteering. Like Baby Yoda looks fucking great during the entire time. And you know what? On that note, the cinematography. Like talk about the way the show is shot, and talk about the technology they use to capture that information is absolutely incredible. I know that Bill Burr actually spoke on it, where he said on the H3 podcast that
Can you do this in a Bill Burr accent?
that when he was on set, if you looked at somebody like a certain way, the background behind them would change to your perspective. So that technology even works on like an eye level. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's really crazy.
Yeah. So he was like, it was like they put you in this big room that was all, you know, screens, and then they close the door and it's nothing but screens around you. And then this way they can just program to whatever the scenery has to be behind you. And like when you moved, the perspective would move as well. Like for you and you alone in
So
your
it has, like,
eyesight.
tracking.
It has some crazy ass shit going on.
Like,
Yeah, it
is he
has
wearing
some
like
tracking
a
stuff, yeah.
like a mocap suit or something? Or like...
I don't think so. Now, I thought that technology was specifically for the camera. The camera talked to the computer, and this way, when they frame up a shot. But Bill Burr said that he could see it
right
when you were standing there looking at another person. So maybe that's just the effect of working in that kind of environment, and maybe that was just his eyes getting tired.
That's true too.
But yeah, like the way the show is shot is exceptional. I know there's a really awesome truck chase during the later half of the season, and the way that the action is shot, all the action actually is shot. I know, like in the first season, it was a little shaky here and there. Like I know the very first episode of season 1 when he like fucks up all those guys in the bar, like the camera was kind of shaky and in really tight. I feel like every director who eventually directs action, like first they direct it and they put it in close and they feel like they got to shake the camera a lot. But then I feel like when you get a second round at it, you know that you pull the camera out some, so you want to see the choreography and everything. And I felt that from the very first scene of this season with the Rockets.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
There was one episode that I didn't feel that, and it was the Robert Rodriguez episode. It felt like an independent movie. It was the only one that didn't feel like big budget, which, not taking anything away from it, but it just felt super gritty and in your face, shaky cam.
Right. Now that was the one. That's the one where he's like, he lights the Jedi beam, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's funny about that is they actually only gave Robert Rodriguez 11 pages of script of dialogue.
Go fight in the field.
And they were just like, let's figure it out. So he's like, yeah, so I put a shit ton of action in there.
Yeah.
He's like, I had a certain time to meet and I had to tell a story. So, and that's pretty much what that episode's good though too, because it's also, you know, a redemption for a character that shows up later. I mean, just before that to everyone's surprise, but not surprised, because for whatever reason they keep putting out these reveals in the press. Besides for one that we're going to talk about later, that was like scandalous. But yeah, the whole thing shot. It looks great. It's the sets, of course, the production. Like, dude, the people they get to work on this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, well, going off of what you're, sorry, I just interrupted you.
But no, it's fine.
Just before
that.
Yeah, because like the set that you're talking about and like the screens and everything like that. I feel like what an amazing place to work in, especially for an actor and a film crew, to where it's just like you could really transport yourself into whatever, you know, set location that, you know, the 3D artists and special VFX guys make, you know, and it really sells it. every scene and like the lighting and whatever. So, for Bill Burr, for example, his mind was blown in terms of, acting in the episodes that he was in, and just probably like, yeah, I was in Star Wars, like legit. Like,
well, Bill Burr is getting way more play right now on the internet because he trashes Star Wars on his podcast for years. And my favorite was I listen to his podcast all the time, and he had a Loot Crate as a sponsor. And I remember one time he goes, buy a Loot Crate. He goes, all your favorite franchise merchandise. And he just goes, I don't know what this is, but you nerds keep buying it, so they keep sponsoring me. and like he talked about one time he was like, he was on Conan like the week Star Wars came out, like the new like Force Awakens came out, and he was straight up just like, they were asking him like, Bill, you don't like Star Wars? He's like, nah. He's like, I wasn't aware of it when it came out when I was a kid. He was like, and by the time I saw it, I was in my 20s. And he was like, it just, and at that time I had seen other stuff. I'm not into that. That nerd shit, actually, is what he calls it. Oddly enough.
Yeah, Nick introduced me to that, like the dub of one of the scenes in The Mandalorian.
But like, that. Yeah.
I never knew that was like around, and it's just like it has like 1.4 million views or something like that. It's just like hilarious.
Dude, trashes Star Wars. It's great. And the fact that now, like, the reason that he's in it is because he saw Jon Favreau at a party, and like, he said that he liked his stand-up and he had a character that he thinks would fit him perfectly to play. And then the reason he was on season 2 is like, I assume the only reason that they could have picked any character, got a new character. It wouldn't have mattered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they chose Bill Burr because they probably like having him around. You know what I mean? Like, I really hope that Mayfield shows up once a season. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I need him for is one mission per season.
I just want to know, like, what did the Disney execs think about this? Like, especially under his like SNL monologue. They're just like, oh my god, I can't believe we actually have to work with this guy.
And they were gonna pay for it too.
Yeah,
so funny how Mayfield is written like. It's just Bill Burr. That's all it is. It's just they put Bill Burr. They gave Bill Burr a blaster and they put him in Star Wars.
See, but like for me, I always had issues when it was like, like the higher ranking characters, they didn't speak in an English, like English accent. They had an American accent. I'm like, no. Your High Republic people, they speak with an English accent, and Outer Rim people speak with an American accent. And then you got Bill Burr going around with the Boston accent. I'm like, where is he from? What is this character's backstory? I need to know who has Boston accent in this galaxy.
We'll see it. Don't worry. In the next whatever.
I want a spin-off for Mayfield.
Everyone wants a spin-off for Mayfield.
For New
I saw
England.
that today.
Star Wars comedy stand-up special. That's awesome. Yeah, let's go.
What's going on, Mrs. Wookie? What were we talking about the other week? We were making fun of Star Wars. Mrs. Wookie, Miss Chewbacca or something.
What?
I don't know. We were saying something stupid. I was with Ger definitely because you're with me everywhere I go, but I can't remember if it was with you guys or our other friends.
Oh, I think probably when we were playing Phasmophobia. It had to have been. I forgot the conversation, but we
were talking about Wookiees and shit. But either way, all right. So now we're gonna get into spoilers, and this is free reign on everything. So if you haven't watched The Mandalorian, just mute your computer, and we will let you know. And you'll see a little graphic come up that will say spoilers. That's when we start talking about spoilers. When that goes away, we're done talking about spoilers. But pretty much anything's off the table. And it will be until 8:55. So, let's just start. I want to get straight into the ending, but Nick, maybe you could start us off.
So all I can say was I was out in the next room watching the final episode, and you start to see little glimpses, little glimmers of, oh, there's an X-Wing. Oh, there's a leather gloved hand. There's a green lightsaber, and I'm on my couch shaking, like screaming, "Oh my God, they're actually doing this!" And typically, I hate the ham-fisted
Which is
fan
what I
service,
said. I thought you
but
would hate it.
I cannot tell you how perfect that moment was when Luke Skywalker showed up. I was just blown away.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Where I thought that too. It was like, wait, X-Wing, all right, coming in. It's like, no, they're not gonna do it. And then I see like the black cloak, and I was like, no, there's still, come on, there's just no way. And then the green lightsaber pops up, and I was like, holy shit, they did it.
You guys
And
want
I
to know
was-
what the best part about that was? I got to watch it with somebody who had absolutely no clue until the hood came off.
What?
Oh,
The
really?
herpy bewilderment was absolutely wondrous the entire time. Like, who is this? Like, who can it be?
You were watching it with Bill Burr.
Yeah, exactly.
Who the hell is this? Who's this guy?
Who the hell is this guy?
All mysterious and shit. What the
Yeah.
hell?
But okay, so let's get something straight. One, he's wearing that cloak. People are like, he's using the Force. No, that's a stunt double. And they only got so much money for unfinished CGI. That being said, I don't think it looked awful, but I would have rather you just cast a younger actor. That's what I would have rathered.
Wasn't there speculation, or I don't know, maybe it was revealed Sebastian Stan?
No, I think that's like another one of those fan things, and then Boss
Okay.
Logic found what was trending on Twitter and drew
They
it.
they should have got him to do it. It would have been beautiful.
Yeah, it would have been cool.
They could have pulled it off. Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like, I hope that would be fun. I don't mind, but unfortunately, so actually, let's talk about the context of the ending. So, Grogu, which is Baby Yoda's name, we find out from Ahsoka Tano, that when he let off the Jedi signal beam or whatever, blue beam in the sky, I was like, oh, that's a nice callback to last decade. I was like, I'm happy to see that. He gets kidnapped. They got to go get him. After they're like about to get killed by all these dark troopers, and right before Giancarlo Esposito fucking blew his own brains out, I was like, oh my God, they're really going to do that? And after that happened, Luke shows up, yada, yada, yada. So Luke says, come little one, he'll never be able to protect himself if he doesn't master his abilities, which is true. That's usually like kind of the motif, teach people to protect themselves. And then the second thing is that I was really sad because, obviously like Mando took off his helmet and everything to, do eye to eye contact, and like Grogu could grab his face and everything. But I also knew that like he's going away with like Luke Skywalker. What's a better option? It's not like some random aliens that we don't know. It's not like or it's not like some space child protective services and he's gonna go around in like different foster homes till he's 18 and like shake a meth addiction at one point. Like he's walking away with literally the best person in the galaxy you can walk into the care of. And then I think of The Last Jedi and I'm like, is it?
Yeah. Well, think about this. So 2 things I want to point out. First is that Ahsoka Tano said in, a couple of episodes back, he was training before the fall of the Republic with the Jedi. So I'm like, was he a youngling that escaped, like the massacre? So he was training under Yoda, and now he's going to go train under Luke. And we know what happens in the future. Like there's the falling out of Luke's new Jedi Order. I just want to see Baby Yoda become part of the Knights of Ren. That would be the funniest fucking shit.
Yeah.
So
I would continue to have hope if Rian Johnson didn't happen to Star Wars. But J.J.
Abrams is he did as much damage. Like, you can't pin it all on Rian Johnson.
So I feel like JJ could only work with what he had left.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Fair enough.
Okay. So, what's interesting though about that ending is that it feels definitive. You know what I mean? it feels like the quest is over. There's that whole shit with the Darksaber, but that could end just as much as like Mando's like, duel me, and then kills him. Like he lets her win or whatever, right? Like that's the only plot thread they really left out. And besides for like Boba Fett, but they kind of tied that up actually, and we're getting a show. But it feels definitive. His whole quest was to get the baby to his kind, and he did. And he was sad that he did. You know what I mean? It was time to say goodbye.
Well, I think the next step in his journey will be like these new Mandalorian wars, like regaining Mandalore. I think that's probably where they're headed next.
Mm-hmm.
I do hope though, because like, you know, I agree with Pat in a sense where it just feels very like it's finished. You know what I mean? Like, and then they show us that thing at the end, the post-credit scene, and just like, oh, maybe they are moving on. I don't know. And it's just like, I do hope what you're saying, it happens for sure.
I hope there's a time lapse. I hope there's a time lapse of like 5 to 10 years, right?
Okay.
And it doesn't matter because how old are people in Star Wars? And they're having Mandalorian wars, and Grogu is actually some kind of Jedi.
Yeah.
And that the Jedi and the Mandalorian, who are natural enemies that we found out, it's like, you know, comedians and magicians, that mortal natural enemies. The Mandalorian and the Jedi, natural enemies, but now they're working together. So I think that would be an interesting dynamic to see. And also, you know, it gives them a chance to cast someone as Luke Skywalker and just be like, you don't like it? Go home. You know what I mean? Like, this, you know, somebody else has to play Luke, you know?
Yeah.
I'm okay with somebody else playing Luke. I was okay with somebody else playing Han Solo. I was okay with somebody else playing Lando. I'd be okay with somebody else playing Leia. There, I said
it. Who do you want to be cast?
The worst thing that could happen, though, would be they bring Mark Hamill, right? And they hire the people who did the age stuff in The Irishman.
Yeah.
And just put cataracts on Mark Hamill just to try to make him look young.
Who would you guys want to be cast in those roles?
Who would I want to like cast in those roles again?
I'm thinking like Luke Skywalker, like a Hanson brother or something like that. You're still pretty young.
I was thinking Jonas brother, you know.
I think Sebastian Stan would be perfect. He looks the part. He's the right age. He's a star.
They have similar features.
Does it matter to you if he's a star?
I'm just saying they're not going to cast. I guess maybe they would cast a nobody, but I feel like they want somebody big. They're not going to put a nobody in the role.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But on top of that, Nick, I think he's already in the Disney universe, right?
Yeah. He's in the Disney stable.
Yeah, just waiting to run the race, you know.
So I guess Mark Hamill. How about Princess Leia?
I wouldn't want to bring anybody else back just put that on record. Luke, I didn't think I was gonna like it. I did, but I wouldn't want to bring anybody else back. Like, let those stories be done.
Right, yeah. Just move on and bring us something new already. You know.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
What I did want to take a step back real quick though, and
Chewie.
Who?
Oh wait,
they got that
dog. They got that Swedish guy, right? That Swedish basketball player.
I guess.
Yeah. But
what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say we only really talked about the last episode. We haven't touched on anything else. But the episode with Ahsoka Tano that was directed by Dave Filoni, I think that was the best episode all season. It was like old school Western.
Yeah.
Like all the influences that George Lucas had, Western samurai movie. It was. Like anything, I would say watch that episode. Like that was beautiful.
It was a cool dynamic too to see like a gray Jedi in live action, and to see once again that a Mandalorian and a Jedi were working together, especially since not only are they mortal enemies, but Mando only just found out that the Jedi are still around. So the fact that he was willing to work with one, especially when they offered him money just to offer,
right?
And like, you know what I mean? It's interesting, like how like before Grogu, Mando probably would have been like, "Hey, bang bang," like, and it would have been over. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So that's like the story arc, right? That you mentioned earlier. It's just like this is the Mandalorian that they're writing up to be.
You see that change through these, through those little nuances. But yeah, if Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are the future of Star Wars, then you'll have no issues going forward.
Yeah.
I still think that there should be Star Wars movies because Star Wars. I just think there should be Star Wars in movie theaters. If movie theaters still exist. But I mean, just in general, I think that there should be still Star Wars movies. But I mean, Star Wars on TV is doing pretty fucking good so far, and I'm really enjoying it.
I'm looking forward to the Taika Waititi movie. I feel like that's going to be super strong. Is Rian Johnson still getting a trilogy, or did they put the kibosh on that?
I don't know. I hope he did it himself.
Probably.
It's like, you know what, guys? I'm going to step out.
Apparently, he blocked some like big YouTube reviewer like on Twitter. It's just like, really, dude? You let them get to you? Like, come on.
I don't know. I to a degree, I don't blame him. Like, that's the Twitter can be brutal, and he pretty much single-handedly killed the sequel trilogy.
That's true. He did in a vacuum. Like I said, I have kind of a nuanced take on that. In a vacuum, I think that's a good movie, but as a Star Wars movie, it's not a good movie. As a Star Wars movie, he fucked it up so hard.
And as a chapter in a trilogy,
yeah. And as a second chapter in a trilogy, you don't end things on the second chapter in a trilogy. You add to them and leave them in suspension. You fucking piece of shit.
Anyway, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the good things happening in Star Wars.
So some favorite moments. I love the Bill Burr episode. I think the truck where Bill Burr's driving the truck and Mando's fighting all the guys off the top of it when they're going to the Imperial mining facility is awesome. I think like I said, I like the Dave Filoni episode, and I really, really like the Robert Rodriguez episode where Boba Fett, Fennec, and Mando have to fight off all those stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like that on top of that, where Boba Fett gets introduced and everything like that. I really like the way that, it's okay for us to like Boba Fett, and he's actually pretty cool. Like, he has this like code of conduct, or like he has like, so I can't wait for the spinoff that they're gonna have. So.
I love when Bo-Katan was like, "You're not a Mandalorian, you're a clone." She's like, "I've heard your voice all over this galaxy." I was like, finally, someone said something.
Yeah, dude, it makes sense.
I loved when he said the line. He said, "I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe." It was like, I'm about it. I like it.
Yeah. So actually, listen, before we end this, I just wanted to say that I know we already talked about the ending, but I feel like this is important. When a Star Wars movies end, or when the Star Wars movies normally end, what you have happen is you have that John Williams music like swell, the da-da-da-da-da, it hits that big note, and then it does the whole like circle transition. It's like da-da-da-da-da-da, you know what I mean? Like, that for me is always, I felt like in Rise of Skywalker, that moment should have been more bittersweet, because like it should have made you feel good that you experienced this movie, but sad that it was over. And I didn't really feel that. But I feel like when they finished Mandalorian, I got that moment again. Yeah. I was like, Star Wars is fucking awesome again.
Yep.
And I felt the same. I felt what I would feel at like the end of Empire, or like the end of Revenge of the Sith, or like the end of The Force Awakens, like hopeful. That's what Star Wars movies are supposed to give you, hope that they're fucking good. and this one is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that said, yeah, we recommend it. Watch that shit. It's so fucking good. What's up next though? What do you guys I either need to do The Boys season 2, or I gotta start The Witcher.
Oh, you haven't watched The Witcher yet?
I watched the first episode.
Okay.
I just started watching Firefly.
Whoa, taking it back a little bit, Nick.
I've never seen it, but
That is an old Joe. What about you there, Joe? Huh? Double shot of love?
Nah, not again. I don't know. I got to think about that. Like I said, I take it one thing at a time. Doom, that takes up all my free time, you know? So I just do that until I'm done with it. And then, who knows? Maybe like rewatch the Harry Potter series or something. Like that'd be fun.
I thought about picking that up on 4K and rewatching them all, but actually, I'll surprise you guys right now. I just added The Invisible Man in 4K onto Movies Anywhere, so you guys can watch that too if you want.
Pat with his own streaming service all of a sudden.
Yep.
You gotta get into it, man.
Hey, guess what, motherfuckers? Here's the. Nick laughed and it made me laugh immediately. Here's a scoop on the streaming services. Y'all want Movies Anywhere? Well, I got you, baby. But yeah, you guys should go in there and you should watch Tenet because I want to do an episode on Tenet and so does our audience,
Yeah,
right?
let's do that for next week, yeah.
yeah.
Not next week. Next week's going to be the fun Christmas. We're hanging out.
So what? Then what are we going to talk about?
Okay, fine. We'll talk about Tenet.
I guess Tenet is the most Christmas movie that you'll ever see.
We should
right?
do a Christmas movie though, right?
No, like what?
I just watched Klaus. It's a kids movie, but it was pretty good.
I'm
Jingle
not
All
watching
the Way.
Christmas Chronicles 2, all right?
Okay,
I saw a few
better
minutes of
idea.
it.
Everybody bring a list of their favorite Christmas movies.
Okay.
Like 4. Everybody bring 4.
We could talk about the Star Wars holiday special.
Ooh, we
No,
could.
no.
We actually could. I've never watched it, but I heard good things.
I've seen it. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, that's been done, but I mean,
Scarred my childhood, but
Why don't you guys do how about we do an old favorites for just that?
okay.
We'll have
For
it
what?
separate from the episode.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
what? For Star Wars?
Yeah, the Christmas special.
Oh, fuck me.
Oh boy.
It's a Life Day special.
Stop.
Oh,
All right.
They're doing a new
Run the
one.
music.
Oh, yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
What do you got for us, Joe?
Let me get set up here. I believe that's it, right? Are we working now? Am I sharing the right thing? There we go. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see some.
Yeah, we've seen this clip 1,000 times before already on this show, but it doesn't get old for me, so.
Yo, was that a fucking video of Beirut? Like, what am I watching?
Yeah, it's Normandy on the 4th of July, you know.
Dude, those people are definitely dead.
Oh no, that's the scene in the Mandalorian. Remember that? Like they had a shootout in that town in the first
it was an
season.
outtake.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Bro,
Yeah.
hold on. Can you bring it back just a little bit?
Yeah, hold on.
I
Oh
think
my
they were
gosh.
like joyous though.
Let me see. Let
Like,
me
there's
turn this
fire.
down first.
There's fire.
Let me turn it down before I play it.
I think they were happy.
God.
See, they're happy though.
They're happy. The survivors are happy.
Yeah, no one was
Bunch of-
hurt.
What a bunch of fucking wackadoos. Am I right? Like,
Oh,
my
man.
God. Why would you imagine standing amongst all that?
Imagine trying to get an early night's sleep.
Imagine being on ecstasy in the middle. It feels amazing.
I just think about what would that Terry guy do? You know that video? Terry, oh Terry.
Terry, back up, Terry.
I feel like the
Terry.
Fed Smoker. I feel like the Fed Smoker video from your mom's house comes to mind. You know, don't be afraid to burn yourself. Feel alive, man. All right. Well, we're a minute over. All right. So, thanks for everyone for tuning in tonight. If you missed the first part or any part, or just want to re-listen to this again because you're a psycho, the audio format of this show will be available on all major podcast networks. You could also follow us on any social media at NerdShitLive and subscribe to this channel for more content, right?
Yeah.
Guys? Yeah. So with that being said, we wish everyone who listens to us a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you guys all next week for some Christmas stuff.
Oh yeah.
We'll hash it out. We're gonna go play Phasmophobia now.
There you go.
Should we stream it?
We could.
I mean, I don't want to.
I mean,
All right.
the people want it. The people demand it.
If the people demand me stream that game, I'll stream it. But
Okay.
until next time, this has been Nerd Shit Live. Thank you very much for watching.